Hello and welcome back to the Coffee Dates podcast with Georgia Batocco, where I will be your host. We're in the Let's Catch Up over coffee era, so grab yourself your favourite coffee and come and join me. Hello everybody, it's been a while, it's been a few weeks. I did say on my Instagram story, so if you're not already following that, head to at the Coffee Dates podcast on Instagram. I share some visual clips of the podcast episodes and just every now and again put up a story with me just chatting away to you guys basically. But I did say on my story on there not that long ago that this was always meant to be a weekly thing. I actually wanted to do some weeks 2 episodes a week. I started it around Christmas time when I had a little bit more time, but I have been pretty busy with work and stuff. And I was actually chatting to my friend the other day about this, and she was asking how it's going. And I just said, like, as much as I want it to be a regular thing, and I'm going to try my best to get one out every week. I know the last few weeks haven't been great with that, but I was like, this is something I do as a hobby. I'm not making money from it. I do it because I enjoy it. And if I'm making myself trying to squeeze in after working when I'm just tired, not in the right headspace, if I'm making myself record an episode, it's going to become more of a chore, and it was never meant to be like that. It's something that I enjoy doing. So I told myself, yes, I'm going to hold myself accountable, and I'm going to, at least try and get one out every so often, but I'm not going to force myself to do it because I don't want to come across as I'm just speaking a load of rubbish that I don't even believe in, that doesn't mean anything, because I want it to be something that's truly what I believe in, and I want to enjoy it. So yes, I've been super busy, which is why I haven't had one out in a while, but hopefully we're back on it now. But I will get into some of that stuff in another episode, but today I don't want to talk about that. Today I want to get straight into it. And today I'm going to talk about other people and the way they kind of treat you. And I'm going to speak about this in a few different ways. So obviously, it's about taking ownership and accountability of your own actions, and maybe when you're doing something slightly wrong. But I also want to talk about how the way people treat you and the things people say to you isn't always actually about you. It's more of a reflection on them. So like I said, I'm going to talk about this in a few different ways. I want to talk about mainly how sometimes even the people closest to you, whether it be family or friends, may not be the most supportive people. I want to talk about why they may not support you and what could be going on in their head to not be supporting you. And I also want to talk about how when people make kind of like nasty or unnecessary comments towards you, how, again, as long as you're taking accountability and ownership and you're not being an absolute little bitch, and you're genuinely not doing anything wrong, but people are making comments towards you that aren't very nice, I want to kind of talk about why they might be doing that. And again, how it could be more of a reflection of them and what's going on inside their head than actually you. Which sounds funny because when you're younger, you don't look at things like that at all, because when someone's saying something to you, you just kind of almost believe it and think, well, there must be a reason why they're saying this. I must be acting in this kind of way, etc. And as you get older, you kind of realize the more these things happen and the more patterns start to occur, you kind of realize, actually, I don't even know if this is about me. Like, this is something that's going on in your head that you need to figure out. So firstly, I want to give you some examples of what I mean by the things someone might be saying to you is more of a reflection on what's going on inside their head and maybe experiences they've had in the past, rather than it's a you thing. So let me take you back. Like, this was a while back, like back when I was living in England. And I remember I was out for drinks with my friends. It was just like a day thing. It was actually like at the races. which back at home, the races aren't like Sydney, like it's like this really small like little track near where I live, but it's good fun. Like there was a group of us that went from the gym that I worked in and some of my friends, and this is going back a while, but it's something that always sticks in my head because I remember at the time like feeling like there was something wrong with me. And basically I was just chilling, having some drinks, like chatting to my friends, and I can be confident in some situations, but I can also be quite like reserved and shy. And I think people that really know me will know that. And so I wasn't really like saying too much. I was just having some drinks with my friends and just chilling. I'm more of like a listener sometimes. It depends who I'm around. And then there were some guys there as well. And I didn't know all of them. But from working in the gym, a lot of people knew who I was just simply from being at the desk and checking people in and everything. And we were all just chilling. And then this guy comes up and starts talking to me. So I just talked to him back, like friendly. And then he just randomly says something like, you're really, really attractive. But the thing is, just by looking at you, I can tell you're going to be really high maintenance. But he said it like in a really angry way, and he said it almost in a bit of a malicious way, like I'd done something wrong. And it was really, really out of the blue. Like, this is someone I didn't know, I'd not spoke to before ever. He didn't know me. Like, we didn't really have many of the same friends. He just knew of me through working in the gym. So there was no reason at all for him to say this. Like, we weren't even flirting. Like, he just come over and started talking to me, and then he randomly said that. And at the time, I think I was probably about 20 or 21. And I remember just feeling really embarrassed because he'd like said it kind of in front of everyone. And I don't remember exactly what he said, but I think he said some more stuff. And it was kind of quite nasty. And I don't really remember what happened after that. I think I just never got spoken about again. Never spoke to him again either. Just didn't really like him from then on, to be honest. And I remember just feeling really embarrassed and almost like ashamed. And I was like thinking what have I done that's made him think that? Not for 1 second did I think it could be something that's happened in his past as to why he then said that and projected that onto me. I just kept thinking, like, what have I done wrong? What did I maybe say or do for him to think that? And yeah, I just remember feeling quite embarrassed, to be honest, and like there was something wrong with me because there'd been a few things like that. And it wasn't until I got older, and actually I went out this Saturday and a guy come up and said something on a similar lines to that. Again, someone who I'd never seen before, never spoke to before. And this isn't just a guy thing, by the way, because girls have said things like this as well, people who I do not know. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that might experience this kind of stuff. And it wasn't until I got older that I started, as I said at the start of this podcast, started noticing patterns of this kind of behavior. I started to think, do you know what? And listening to other mindset podcasts as well, I started to think, do you know what? Let me take myself out of this for a minute and think about who said this and think, what could have gone wrong in their life? Who hurt you to be saying stuff like this? And being serious now, did maybe his ex, like initially he was super attracted to her and it was all sunshine and roses, and then she started taking everything from him and expecting a lot more than initially she did at the start? Did she hurt you? Did she cheat on you? Like, you just got to look more at them and think, why are they saying this? Like, why have they come out with this? Like, clearly there's something that they've experienced before to make them think this of you when you have never even spoke to them. Like, you have never even given them anything. So this thing they're saying to you is something they're actually basing on their own experiences and life rather than anything you've ever done wrong. Because how could it ever be anything you've done wrong or an impression you've given off when you don't even know this person? So I started looking at it more like that and understanding that it's not black and white. It's not always black and white. And things people say to you sometimes is actually nothing to do with you and more of a reflection on them and things they've experienced in the past. Maybe it was nothing he'd experienced. Maybe this was just how he was taught to flirt, because that is actually a thing, you know. Back at school, when you're in like primary school and the guy that fancies you is like mean to you, like there was this guy that used to fancy me and he used to push me into hedges and stuff, and then it turns out that he fancied me. I mean, I don't know who in their right mind is pushing a girl into hedges if they fancy them, but you know, some guys grow up thinking that that's how you show a girl you like them, by being mean to them. Strange, but it is something that happens. So maybe this is just how he thought he could flirt, you know. There's so many different reasons, but it's not always you. It's not always something you have done wrong or something you have said wrong. Sometimes it's as simple as something messed up that's happened in their life or whatever that's given them this impression of you. And sorry, not even impression of you, but this assumption they have made up of you. So yeah, this type of stuff can happen in so many different situations with so many different types of relationships. And for example, other stuff where this happens a lot is in a workplace, and maybe your colleague is just constantly nagging you, always saying you've done something wrong, you didn't do it this way, blah blah blah. And maybe they don't act the same way to your other colleagues and it's just you that they're at all the time. Well, maybe there's something in you that it makes them feel insecure, or maybe you are just doing a bloody shit job. But if you've looked at yourself and you really can confidently say that you're not acting any different than your co-workers and you're putting in everything you can and they are at you all the time, again, take yourself out of the equation and look at them and their life. Is there something that triggers them? Is there something you do that triggers them? Is there something you have that they don't but they want? Sometimes, like I said, as long as you can confidently say that you aren't doing any harm, you're not doing anything wrong, then maybe it's just more something that they're dealing with and something that you do or have is triggering them. And again, this leads into people not supporting you. So there's a lot of times when maybe really great things are happening in your life and you just don't feel supported. Could be you don't feel supported by your friends, your family, whoever it is. Sometimes the support just simply doesn't feel like it's there, even when you're doing really amazing things. And again, this could be for so many reasons. It could simply be your friends and family are just so busy with their own lives that they haven't even thought to pop you a message, which actually that in itself is a bit shitty because, you know, there's always time just to drop your friend a little message to say you're proud of them or whatever. But yeah, sometimes it's not malicious. Sometimes it's simply other people are just very busy with their own lives. And again, like I've said in other episodes and stuff, especially you know, friends that have families and stuff, I really do appreciate that their life with children is a lot more hectic than like my friends and myself who don't have that kind of life. Like I have a lot more spare time than my friends with children do. So I get that sometimes life just escapes away with you and you simply kind of forget to check in with your friends. But there's other people who are very clearly watching what you're doing. You know, they're always watching, always know what you're doing, but they don't give you a little like on your posts. They don't drop you a message saying well done. Just all of these little things that, okay, it might just be social media and it might just be a like to you, but at the end of the day, we are living in a world which is very much about technology and social media. So to someone that uses those platforms and shares you know, their achievements on those platforms, a little like or comment or message goes a long way. So it might not to you, but it might to other people, especially those who have their businesses online. Just a little bit of support, sharing someone's post goes a long way. So there'll be the people that are constantly watching and they always know what you're doing. Oh my goodness, did you hear that beeping outside? My brother told me that I always apologise for the noise and you can't always hear it, but I'm pretty sure you would have heard that. But where was my thought process now? But you will find there's the people that are always watching. You'll speak to them and they'll go, oh yeah, I know, I saw that. But you're thinking, well, I don't remember you liking that, or I don't remember you messaging me at the time. They see everything, but they don't drop you a message. Why? Why? And again, I used to get so offended by it. Not offended, but again, it's that feeling of what's wrong with me? Why don't these people want to support me? Like, and it almost makes you want to go back into your shell and like just not carry on doing what you're doing. Like I've spoke about it before, but back at home when I was doing my personal training business, like sometimes I would get like maybe nasty comments about it, or people just weren't really like showing the love with my stuff that I would post about it. But they were always watching, and I always made a business from it, and it always paid off in the end. So what I would say to people that feel like their family or friends aren't supporting them, maybe you're starting a new business, or maybe it's just simply your life in general, I would say just keep doing what you're doing, because the people are always watching. They might not be showing love right now, but they will eventually, and it will always pay off. So don't back down into your little shell just because you feel like people aren't supporting you. A lot of the time people aren't supporting you. It's because, again, I mentioned it earlier, they might see something in you that they wish they had themselves. Maybe there's something that they've been wanting to start up, but they've been too scared to do it. So now seeing you do it and making small steps and making progress, it's an insecurity in them. It's enlighten that insecurity that you're doing something they really want to do, but they don't know how to start, or they don't have it in them to start. So you're triggering them by doing it. And although you might not see their love right now, as we all know, life is changing, people's situations are changing. Maybe eventually they will show the love. Maybe right now in their life they're going through something, and as selfish as it might sound, they don't have the capacity to show you the love right now, but eventually they might. And if they don't, who cares? Just don't stop things just because you feel like you're not getting the love and support from people you wish you were. Okay, there's so many reasons. Yes, it could be they see something in you they wish they had themselves. Maybe, again, they're just busy with life, so they're not even thinking about it. And again, as selfish as that sounds, life gets busy, and we've all done it. We've all been there where we shut everyone out because we're too focused on our own things. There's so many different reasons. Again, as long as you're not doing anything wrong and you've really took a look into yourself, there's nothing wrong. Again, it's something that they're dealing with, and it's more of a reflection on them, not you. What would I say to people where this is upsetting them and they don't know how to respond to this behavior, whether it be someone you know or you don't know has said something like nasty, whether it be someone you know or you don't know isn't showing support? What would I say? I would say, and this is something I would do and have done, is maybe I'm too nice sometimes, but just because someone isn't showing you the love, it doesn't mean that you can't show them and you can't still just stay a good person. You don't need to actively go out of your way to still speak to these people, but if they're sharing a celebration, there's no harm in celebrating with them and just messaging them like, well done. Just because they're not doing it to you, it doesn't mean you don't need to do it to them. But at the same time, you don't need to actively like reach out to these people, and you don't need to block them out either. But again, I've said it in another episode, you can have so many different types of friends and they can kind of be for different things. So if this is someone that's not celebrating you and your success, but you have a great night out with them, maybe still carry on going out with them and having a good time, but don't share certain things with them. Maybe you have friends where you can share things with them, but you don't have the best night out, they don't drink. Then keep sharing your successes and don't drink with them. That might not be everyone's cup of tea and not everyone will agree with that, but life is short, and as much as we'd like to be in an ideal world and have the perfect friends, that's just not realistic. So, and it's hard to find the perfect friends. So have your friends for your different things and know that. Don't be surprised when you tell your friend something who you know that doesn't support you, doesn't then support you. You know, take responsibility as well and know what your friends are there for and know what you can share with them and what you can't. Continue to support yourself and never back down into your shell just because you don't feel like you're getting the love from your friends and family. Keep doing what you're doing and be truly confident in yourself and what you can achieve. And remember that the most successful people always have people hating on them. And what I would say is people that hate are never happy people, or at least there's a part of their life they're not happy with, and that's why they're hating. Because if you think about the friends that are actually genuine and do support you and don't say nasty things to you, if you look at their life, they're normally the happiest ones, or they've been through enough shit to know that life is short and you should just support your friends, because it's not going to take anything away from you, and you don't need to be an asshole and be mean to people, because what is the point? Sorry for the swearing. I tried to make this podcast no swearing, because in my last one I did with my friends, like, I swore a lot, so I do apologize, Dad, Mum, if you're listening. But that's what I would say, guys. That is what I would say. And look, there was a lot more I was thinking I was going to say in this, but I can't really remember now. But like, this is just one example that's just come to my head, right? I've started a little podcast, and again, there's some people that don't support it, people that's supposed to be my friends, but I feel like I've just seen these patterns long enough and seen it happen so much that it's not going to stop me from doing this, because I love doing it. And there's some people that give you so much lovely feedback. Some of my friends are awesome and say such lovely things about it, which means so much. But yeah, I've started a podcast, and I'm still always sharing other people's podcasts, saying how great they are, because that's not going to take away from mine. And I know that I've lived through so many experiences to know that from like sharing someone else's success and saying how great it is and how other people should listen, it's not going to make people suddenly stop listening to you. Like, that's just not how the world works. There's plenty of room for us all to do something good, and everyone's different. As long as you're bringing something different to the table and something that's unique to you and something that means a lot to you, then there's room for you. The people that worry are normally the ones that are just copying other people and hopping on the latest trends anyway. So be yourself, support other people, because it's not going to take it away from you. And when people are being nasty, and you think to yourself, what is wrong with me? What have I done wrong? And you get upset. Remember, most likely it wasn't you. It's something that the other person is dealing with, and they're taking it out on you. So that is what I would say. And I have so much more to say, but I like to keep these episodes quite short. And I've already been talking for 23 minutes. I don't know how it's going to be after I edit it. But yeah, I hope you guys love this episode, and I really enjoy being back with you guys. And I will give you a bit more of an update with what's going on with me recently. Nothing too crazy, just a few health stuff, which again is nothing major, but I will do an episode on that one day. And I look forward to speaking to you soon, guys, and I love doing these, and I hope to do another one very soon. Have a great week, or whenever you're listening to this, and I will see you all soon.